This is Real Sports with your man. And here we go. So as you can tell, this is not your usual sports show or sports broadcast because we're going to talk about stuff people actually want to talk about.
We're going to talk about some stuff that's probably going to offend a few, diehard fans, including my, co-host right here. He's a diehard Laker fan, so we're going to address some things that they've been doing wrong for some times, and he'll try to, back it up and say how they did right by Kobe or did right by, how they messed up this team.
And, of course, for all those Laker haters out there, Andy will definitely, tickle your right nerves. So let's get going with some NFL. I want to talk about the Rams.
The Rams back in LA. I'm happy about that. I'm actually really excited about that. I love the fact that we actually have a team back in LA. It's been too long. When did they leave? Like 93, 94? I mean, we were kids when they left.
Right after the earthquake.
Yeah, it was like 93, 94.
They said, I'm out.
Everything was all broken down. Like, yeah, it's probably isn't for us. But I mean, they went to St. Louis. I never really followed the Rams that much. But now that they're back in LA, I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. But I will definitely support the Rams. I'll definitely, if they're, in a playoff game at some point in the next 5 years or so, then I'll definitely root for them. I'll go for them. But I'm just excited that they're here now.
I mean, I'm definitely excited that they're back. But when is Jared Goff going to start?
When he's ready. I don't think he's ready. He came from an offense in college at Cal where he's not used to, being under center. He's not ready. I get everybody's, getting their panties on a bunch and, upset that we're losing. We got destroyed in week 1 to the Niners, to the 49ers. If you're a 49ers fan, no offense, but you guys aren't going to do anything. I personally, I don't like Chip Kelly because he destroyed my team. He made us trade away LaShawn McCoy for Kiko Alonso, who we don't even have anymore. He sent Deshaun Jackson away. Their careers haven't been the same since they're not in Philly, but he got rid of our core offense that we had. And
here's a disturbing stat. 2 weeks, not a single touchdown in the red zone. What was the total? 4 times?
Oh, okay. I'm not saying Case Keenum is the answer. I'm not saying that he's an amazing quarterback, but I don't think that Jared Goff is ready. Because right now, I forgot who I was listening to. I was listening to somebody who made an excellent point. They were saying right now the idea that he's the savior, the idea that he's hope, he's giving everybody that glimmer that, okay, when he starts, we'll be okay. That's what's kind of holding everybody, keeping everybody kind of in their seat a little bit. The biggest argument is throw him in. Let's say they throw him in. What's going to happen then if he sucks? What if he's a step down or a couple steps down from Case Keenum? How's everyone going to react to that? Meaning they gave away 6 draft picks, 2 number 1s, 2 number 2s, and 2 number 3s, I believe, in order to get this guy, number 1 pick in the draft. You gave everything to get him away. You can't rebuild your offensive line. You can't get another wide receiver. You can't get fill in those positions that you need. They lost a bunch of defensive players in free agency, during the offseason. You can't get that back. But now, if he doesn't do anything and he underperforms, there's nothing else you're relying on at that point.
Right. So here's my argument. It's very simple. Todd Gurley has 98 yards in 2 games on 36 attempts. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people argue that the line is not doing their job. The line's not making holes. He doesn't have holes to run through. He's falling off, et cetera, et cetera. The man is in shape. He's an animal. He doesn't have the holes.
I'm not
right.
arguing
No,
that.
but this feeds my Goff argument. Okay? Why does he not have holes? Well, easy answer. The defenses are loading up the box. Why? We're talking about 7-8 guys in the box. Why?
Why? Because Gurley's the only threat. He's the only threat.
My
wide receivers are garbage. Tavon Austin is garbage. He should have never been given that, $42 million extension? He still had another 2 years. I believe it was 2 years on his contract. They extended him. He hasn't proved anything. Tavon Austin is your biggest weapon, and yet he keeps dropping passes. He can't, he doesn't go for, his routes suck. He's not a good player. He's an okay player. He's maybe a third option on a good team. If that. That's being generous to him. So when that's your only answer to your offense, if I'm on the defensive side, my only thing is stop Gurley. If they stop Gurley, what happens? They have no answers, and they've proven it.
Okay, that's my point though. Is so this year in 2 games, Case Keenum has 35 completions on 65 attempts. That's 53%. That's terrible. A total of 369 yards. Okay, when you talk about prime quarterbacks in the league, Phillip Rivers will go out there in a single game and get 453 yards. Okay. This man in 2 games.
Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Fame quarterback. Case Keenum is not going to be in the Hall of Fame. That's completely different.
Okay, my point is right here. Yards per attempt, 5.7. So his average pass is 5 yards. If you're a defense, are you worried at all about the ball going downfield? No, because Keenum is not an accurate passer and he can't throw it downfield. Okay, he's a smart guy.
They have no receivers. Their receivers are garbage.
If you hook Jared Goff up with Kenny Britt, they're gonna start making those deep passes.
I don't know. That's
making those deep passes. Now all of a sudden you're gonna see 4, maybe 5 guys in the box. Now all of a sudden those holes are opening up. Now all of a sudden Gurley's gonna get those 130-yard games.
No, Gurley's a monster. I'm not debating that. That's not my question. But I'm just saying, if you're on the opposite team, and if you're the only game plan you need to stop the offense is let's stop Gurley, let's close up these holes, let's all just blitz, let's all just stay. Right there, let's cover all the holes. Let's not let him run through us. That's all he does.
Right. And my point is that Jared Goff has a cannon. That man can throw it accurately downfield. He's been compared to Aaron Rodgers.
But
as far as accuracy and
but
deep ball.
How many people or how many players have been compared to another great player that didn't really always work out that way? I'm not saying that he's not gonna do good or that he's gonna be a bum. We don't know yet. But at the moment, I don't think that the Rams have the talent to surround him to put him in a winning position. I don't think that they have it. The only hope or the only thing that they have that would actually work is Gurley. But now that it's in the new season, people caught up to what he can do and know where he's going to run to and know that they only need to stop him. They can add those extra bodies on the defense to focus on Gurley because none of the wide receiver corps is going to do anything.
Right, so let me throw out some stats for Jared Goff, 2015 at California. He had 341 completions on 529 attempts. That's a 64.5 percentage. So, and 4,714 yards. His average yards on attempt were 8.9. So, obviously...
Yeah, he broke Aaron Rodgers' records, right?
Yeah, I mean, the guy had an amazing...
college.
He had an amazing senior year. But
what was his team's record? Read me that. What was... Look up... Berkeley.
Look, I don't... okay, I don't care about the team record. What I'm talking about right now is the fact that this man is a better quarterback than Case Keenum.
I'm a better quarterback than Case Keenum. I don't play quarterback. He's garbage.
Right.
I'm just saying.
So why not take a shot? Goff, here's the thing. Goff has that Cali chill mentality. He doesn't seem to be shaken easy. He threw picks in preseason, and every time he made a mistake, he walked to the sideline, was very calm, and came back out confident. That's why I believe that he could handle the pressure. I think he's ready for it. I think he's built for it. I think that's why Rams drafted him number 1. But if you look at Fisher, his history is that he's not going to put you in until around game 5, game 6. If you get to go in your rookie season at all. So I don't believe with Fisher's, I don't believe in his approach. I think that he's making a mistake, and I think we should give Goff a chance. It's one of those things, he's either ready or he's not. Sitting him on the sidelines is not going to do any good. Not with somebody like that has a cannon.
Okay, but putting him in is not going to win us games right now at the moment either because he doesn't have anyone to throw it to. That's my only argument.
I hear you.
He doesn't have anything. Let's say if you put him in a team where he actually had wide receivers, he had a good offense to run, he had a great tight end, it would be a different story. And then he had Todd Gurley. Yeah, I agree. I would say let's put him in earlier.
Okay, so predictions. What week or when? At what point do you feel Goff is going to start?
Do I feel he would or do I feel he should?
When? When do you think he'll start?
When do I think he will start?
Yes.
I would say I don't know, because Jeff Fisher.
Just give me a number.
I don't think Jeff. Okay, hold on. I don't think Jeff Fisher cares if people keep scrutinizing him and keep going at him and calling for his head. If people keep saying you need to put him in, or I want to fire, petitions or whatever you want to do now. I don't think he cares about that. He's not scared of that. He's proven it. He's gonna do it his way, and he's gonna let a quarterback sit. So I would think that he can. I wouldn't be surprised if it's next year. Unless he sees like a drastic change in Goff and he sees that he's ready, I would say towards the earliest, the second half of the season. I don't see anything before that.
I say if we don't score another touchdown next game, we'll see him week 4.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't.
So Jeff Fisher as a Rams coach is 20-37, which when you think about it,
that's pretty good.
Man.
Okay.
It might be time for a new head coach, but look, I'm saying Jared Goff by week 6. If he doesn't get in there by week 6 and we're still losing, even if we start winning, it's like we got to see him at some point. I think you have to do it. I think LA wants it. You could see the discontentment on fans' face on week 2. Even though we got the win, yes, it's great.
Yeah, that was an ugly win, though.
It was super ugly, man.
I mean, it
was the most. Here's the problem. It was the most boring
sad
football game I've ever watched in my life, and the only reason why I watched the whole thing is because Rams back in LA. That's it. If Rams weren't back in LA, if that was a Charger game,
it was almost
and they were playing like that,
it was almost as boring as a Charger game.
All right, we're moving on now.
All right, for those of you guys who don't know,
moving on.
Chris is a Charger fan. But all right, since you want to compare Jared Goff to Aaron Rodgers, I mean, Aaron Rodgers sat out for the first year, right? And we saw how that worked out. Plus Jared Goff.
Only because Brett Favre was there.
Oh, I know.
If you put Case Keenum there, he would have been in.
No, they want him to develop. There's nothing wrong with that. I actually think that when it's necessary, they should. Okay, but back to the stat that I was talking about earlier. All right. In Cal, Jared Goff his last year was 8-5. I don't think that's someone we should trust right away because he didn't have wide receivers, right? He didn't have a solid team with him. Same thing right now. He's not ready.
I'm saying is the guy's special, man. He's got a cannon. He's accurate passer. All the wide receivers say that. Yes, they all say he's not really ready, but they also say that he's got a cannon and he's extremely accurate.
There's a difference between practice and a real game, not preseason, an actual a regular season game.
Can we agree that the Rams are not gonna go to the Super Bowl this year?
Yeah, I don't think they'll make playoffs.
Why not take advantage of the opportunity?
I think they're scared
to let him learn.
I think they're scared he gets hurt, or people see that, dang, he's not what we thought he was, and that we're just screwed out of 6 draft picks that we traded for. I mean, I personally, if he came out,
either way, I'd rather know now than later. Like if I was screwed out of 6 picks, I would rather know now. But he can learn later.
He can learn within this year and get better later on. That way, when he comes out, he's more prepared. Like if he came out right now, I wouldn't start him in my fantasy lineup or anything. At all. Like I would not even. I wouldn't want him taking room on my bench.
Yeah, my whole thing is like get him in there and let him learn. Let him get started.
I hear you, but I mean, speaking of fantasy lineup or fantasy in general, how are you doing in your fantasy leagues?
Your boy is 2-0, and it's my first time playing fantasy football. I've never played fantasy football before, but I got Phillip Rivers starting for me, and he's killing it.
Well, I mean, Rivers is always guaranteed to kill it, though.
Exactly. My wide receivers are not doing too good. So here's a pick. And I give you credit for it. You told me go get Fuller from Houston. So I get him because he had, 2 incredible weeks in a row.
Rookie.
He had 20 fan points week 1, 16 fan points week 2. I'm like, week 3 I got him. I put him in there. This is going to be amazing. He gives me 5 points.
Did you see that team? They didn't score a touchdown against the Patriots. What do you expect? I think Brock Osweiler is showing to be like another version of Jay Cutler. He has no heart.
Yeah,
that dude. I have him on my fantasy line on one of my leagues. I started and I was mad because I was like, dude, you're not doing anything. And just by looking at him, I was watching the game and I'm like, you are. It seems like he's being forced to play. He's there. He takes the ball. He kind of takes a step back and then he's just like he doesn't seem like he wants to get the ball to one of his receivers. He's another Jay Cutler to me, and that's what sucks. And that's what I like. They paid so much. I'm not a Texan fan, but they paid so much money to get this guy just because of the name, because he was with the Broncos last season or whatever. But he's not doing anything.
Yeah, I hear you. That's why I tried to get receivers that have good quarterbacks. That's why I got Keenan Allen. Week 1 gets hurt. I had Woodhead. He gets hurt. All my guys keep going out. Martin, my running back from
Doug Martin.
From Tampa Bay, he got hurt.
That sucks. But he'll come back. That's not like a season-ending entry, right?
So here's a sleeper, Michael Crabtree.
He's not a sleeper, dude. Everyone knows about him. He's dope. No. He's a great player.
Why did I pick him up off the wire then?
Because
nobody took him.
I don't know.
His own percentage is up to 92% now. So
I don't think he's good.
No, but I'm saying he's a sleeper in the sense that he had this bright star, and then he faded. And he went to Oakland, and now he's got a great quarterback.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Carr is a really solid quarterback, and I think moving to Oakland was a great move for him.
Oakland has a good team. They have a good young core. They're good. They're good because their defense, they're not doing that great right now, but they have some young defensive players. Khalil Mack's a beast.
Speaking of defense, if you don't have the Carolina defense, you need to do whatever you can to get it. That's for everybody that has a fantasy team. They got me 29.53 fan points in week 2. They got me 12 points in week 1. They're projected to get me 18 points in week 3. I drafted a little early on the defense. Most people wait until around 6 or 7 to draft the defense.
I didn't draft the defense until I want to say around 10 or 11.
I drafted the Carolina defense, I believe, round 6, and it's because I didn't want to miss out on them. I also drafted the Rams defense just to have it just in case as a backup. But, they're getting some good points too. But this Carolina defense, they're making up for my lack of receivers.
Yeah, I get it. How many points have they earned you so far?
So far, I'm not sure what the totals are, but let's see. They earned me 12 points in week 1, 29 in week 2. They're projected to get me 18 this week. And it's pretty consistently around 16, 17 points a week. So
that's not bad. I actually just made a trade with I'm in a league with a few of my coworkers, and I wanted Allen Robinson in the beginning of the season. So I reached out to him and I was like, what do you want for Allen Robinson? And he didn't want to trade him, but now that he's had 2 not so great games, he hit me up. He's like, hey, trade me Alshon Jeffries for Allen Robinson. And at first I was a little hesitant. I did the trade. I was a little hesitant because I wasn't sure if I wanted to go that route. But when Jay Cutler got injured, it was kind of like, yeah, you know what? I don't think he's going to have that great of a... I think he'll still put up some good numbers. Alshon Jeffries is a beast, but because of his whole history with his, injury... he's very injury prone, and when I made the trade, I look at the news for him, and they're saying that he's questionable because he's having knee injury. So I was like, I'm hoping I did the right thing by doing the trade, because Allen Robinson had a monster year last year. This year, he's not doing so great. In the first 2 games, he's been targeted 20 times. He's caught 9 passes for 126 yards, which is nothing for 2 games. He hasn't caught any touchdowns. With Alshon Jeffries, he's been doing a lot better, where he's caught about 9 passes. He's been targeted 13 times, and he's caught it for 201 yards. So he's put up a lot more. He's put up better numbers. But I just think the potential that Allen Robinson has is greater than Jeffries, especially because Jeffries is used to getting hurt, and his quarterback isn't in there. But it's Jay Cutler. Even though he has a cannon, he has a lot of talent. He's lazy. He doesn't play. When he doesn't want to play, he's not going to play. When he wants to just toss the ball or throw interceptions, that's Jay Cutler all day.
So who is your fantasy sleeper? If you had to tell everybody out there, this is the one guy that you have to get no matter what, who would it be?
I would say one of them is definitely going to be Tyrell Williams, the wide receiver from San Diego. I know a lot of them have him now. I'm looking at the Yahoo Fantasy numbers right now, and he's only owned in 62% of leagues. Right. He's a beast. With Keenan Allen being out, he's gonna put up numbers because he has
Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, he has a Hall of Fame quarterback. I know you love Rivers, and I can't say anything bad about him because he's a monster. He's always gonna put up numbers. one of the sleepers that I had early on in the draft, and a lot of people were saying, I don't know why you're drafting him that early, was Matt Forte. I got Matt Forte in like the 4th round in some of my leagues, and he's having one of the best years. He's 31 years old, I believe, but he's killing it right now. He had 100 yards and 3 touchdowns in week 2. He's going in. He's having a monster year, and a lot of people are like, "Why are you drafting him so early? Why are you drafting him, at all?" And I'm like, he's gonna kill it. That's one person who I felt a lot of people slept on, and also that rookie Sterling Shepard from the Giants. He's actually doing really good too. He's putting up more numbers than Odell Beckham at the moment, and I believe Victor Cruz being a rookie. So the Giants have 3 solid wide receivers, whereas you're not gonna pick up Odell at all. You probably can pick up Victor Cruz. Victor Cruz was a beast a couple years ago. He didn't play all last season. But, I mean, if you can get Victor Cruz or Sterling Shepard, those would probably be some good options, too.
So just to backtrack to the Phillip Rivers thing real quick, I think he is one of the most underrated players in NFL history. The man has put up out-of-this-world numbers his entire career and has been consistent at doing it. Okay, if you look at his career stats, his QB rating has always hovered around 100. He's either just under 100 or, as high as 120. He's thrown for 41,000, almost 42,000 yards in his career, with an average completion percentage of 65%. I mean, the guy is just an animal. He's a Hall of Famer. I think he's severely underrated. Whenever people talk about top 5, they always leave him out, and it doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, last year this guy averaged almost 400 yards a game. It's just, it's mind-boggling.
You know why they leave him out, though, right?
Because he's in San Diego.
Yeah, and because he's not
flashy.
Well, he's not going to the Super Bowl. He's not winning a championship. That's.
But he's also not a flashy guy.
Oh no, give Phillip Rivers 1 or 2 Super Bowls, guaranteed you he's in everybody's top 5 right now.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, if you watch his games, the throws he makes, he's constantly throwing the deep ball and just pinpoint accuracy. It doesn't make sense to me, but. We'll move on from that one. We'll save that conversation for another day.
And he has 9 kids, but I mean, that's not here.
All right, so let's move on to beast or bust. This is for guys that should be beasts and are doing it or have become busts. And then the opposite, guys that we didn't expect to do too much, but they're beasting it right now. So my first is Todd Gurley. He should be a beast, but he's shown to be a bust. But I think
he is a beast, but he's performing like a bust.
And that's the thing. I don't think he's performing like a bust. I think he just doesn't have the opportunities that he needs. Like I said, the holes aren't there. His line is not doing a good job. His quarterback sucks. So his quarterback's not opening up the run game for him because he's not getting the ball downfield.
And the receivers
and it sounds terrible to say that his quarterback sucks, but at the end of the day, I mean, no touchdowns in 2 games. I understand that they have a lack of wide receiver depth and this, that, and the other, but the guy is throwing it to nowhere and saying, "Oh, I just saw something that wasn't there." I mean, come on, man. Is this, do we have ghosts running around the field? I'm not sure what's going on. So, at the end of the day, I think Todd Gurley looks like a bust, but it's a facade. At some point, they'll get the passing game going. When they do, it's going to open up the holes. Todd Gurley is going to be an animal, and we'll see those numbers start to skyrocket again, just like last year. So that's my pick for beast or bust. What's yours?
Wait, hold on, just one question. Would you panic if you're a Todd Gurley owner in fantasy? Would you trade him, or would you hold on to him?
I'd hold on to him because at some point those holes are going to open up.
You think he'll make up for those numbers then?
Yeah, absolutely. Maurice Jones-Drew said, he said he talked to Todd and he told him, don't change anything. He said, keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, no, that kid's a monster.
Yeah, he said, keep running the same way. Because at some point, those holes that are not open now will open up.
Yeah, and he'll find it.
Yeah, you'll find your groove. So I think he'll get into a groove. You'll start to see those 130, 150-yard games. He'll have at least 4 or 5 of them this year. And if you're a fantasy owner and you drop him, you're going to kick yourself in the face when he has those games.
That'd be interesting. In the face. But my... bust is going to be Thomas Rawls, the running back from Seattle, because I remember last season I actually got him off the waiver wire when Marshawn Lynch went down, and he killed it for my fantasy team. He was putting up numbers because he was just, a monster. He was like a beast mode junior in a sense. He wasn't all Marshawn Lynch, but he looked like, wow, might be the guy who can be a good transition to replace beast mode, once he retires, because, he retired this year. And I was excited about him. And I saw a lot of people drafting him, and I saw that he was going maybe like in the third or fourth round. I was gonna get him, but I kept hearing a lot of like analysts saying, don't get him. He's kind of injury prone. They're not sure. They're gonna do like a running back committee with him and Kristen Michaels. And this year, he hasn't done anything. On 19 carries, he's rushed for 25 yards. That's what, like 1 point, whatever that is. I don't want to do the math, but 1 yard a carry. That's nothing. And then he's caught 6 passes for 41 yards. He's a bust. He's not doing anything. Just numbers wise, he's not doing anything. The backup, who's supposed to be the backup, Kristen Michaels, has been putting up better numbers than him. So that would be my bust player for this league, or for this week so far.
Awesome. And another one I want to talk about is the Denver D. I don't know that I would call them a bust, but they're acting bust-ish because they were supposed to be the number 1 defense in the league, and statistically, not really there.
They're good. They're what? Let me look that up. I had it right here. They're top. I'm looking at NFL stats for yards allowed per game. They're number 6 at allowing 293 yards. Ahead of them is Seattle, Baltimore, which was shocking, Houston Texans. This is even after the game with the Patriots. Houston is 3. Then it's Philadelphia Eagles, and then it's the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings have been killing it on their defense.
Right.
That was a shocker. Last year they were good, but it looks like they stepped it up again to even another level now, and then it's the Denver Broncos.
I think as far as expectations, Denver is a bust.
Agreed.
I think, if you're a Denver fan, you take a step back and you say, well, they're still a good defense, but the problem
Top
is
6, not bad.
Yeah, but the problem is that you don't have much of an offense. So, last year you got to think about, they went to the Super Bowl and won it because of defense alone.
Yeah.
We all love Peyton Manning, and nobody's trying to talk ill of him, but he was terrible last year.
Worst year of Peyton Manning's career. And then they had Brock Osweiler, who we discussed earlier, has no heart. He was just kind of throwing. They took him out. He threw 4 interceptions, I think, in a game when they actually took him out. But, Denver, I don't think Denver will be able to recreate what they did last year. I don't think that their defense can make up for the lack of offense this year again.
I think it's safe to say they're going into reebbuilding. So, all right.
Speaking
so
of rebuilding.
Segue. Going to the Lakers. Now,
so I'm going to take a nap. I'll be back.
No, this Las Vegas, the over-under that came out saying that the Lakers were going to have 24 wins has just...
24?
It was 24. Or was it 26?
I don't know. I know it was like in the mid-20s. I know that for
sure. Right.
Sure.
So let's just go with 24. Okay, I know Laker haters, I think, could even take a step back and say, oh, man... You're saying that they're going to be the second worst team in the league. It's just ridiculous. I think we can all agree that they'll definitely be over on that.
I've heard. By how much? Just and you're honest, not like you're diehard fanboy Laker.
No, you know me. I look at the Lakers realistically. I know that they're a young team. I know that they have a lot of growing and learning to do. At the same time, I know D'Angelo shot just around 36% from 3 last year. I know that that's going to grow. I know that that's going to be a lot better this year. Ingram is just... that guy is so silky smooth.
All right, let's wait for the regular season. Let's just not get ahead of ourselves.
He is smooth.
Let's wait.
So, all that to say, to answer your question, I think they'll be somewhere around 35 wins. I think that's fair. I hope, as a Laker fan, that they'll get a lot more than that, but I think 35 is fair. Now, here's my bottom line and my point to all of it. Byron Scott, I love Byron. But he restricted D'Angelo. He did not allow him to be the player he is. He did not allow him to to grow and to be that special superstar that D'Angelo has in him and that he wants to be. So that being said, the offense was not tailored around D'Angelo, and so D'Angelo would make these really beautiful passes, and guys were just not hitting shots. I mean, I cannot rely on Robert Sacre to hit a 15-footer. But that's what was happening is D'Angelo would set him up with these beautiful passes, boom, behind the back, behind the head. He hits him with this pass. He's wide open, clank. And it was I watched every single game last year, and
Why?
I swear,
why would you torture
because I'm a diehard Lakers fan, and good or bad, I'm gonna support my team. And last year was terrible, but it was fun. The young guys were fun to watch. Now we actually have an offensive system. I think Luke Walton is perfect for this. You can already see a difference in the vibe just in practice. They got music blaring in practice. Everybody's having fun. Coaches out there with them playing, dropping dimes from the post. D'Angelo, those passes that D'Angelo was making last year, those shots from those passes are going to fall this year. I truly believe we're going to see D'Angelo break into a double-double season this year. Julius Randle's going to average a double-double just like he did last year because he's a rebounding monster. You cannot stop that guy in the paint. I remember one game I watched and he was playing Memphis, and I can't remember who it was. It was one of the small forwards. Julius Randle comes charging into the paint because there's only 2 defenders back, and he's going 1-on-2. And he lowers his shoulder so he could bump him and then go up for the layup. But he hit the guy so hard that he knocked him into the second row of seats. I mean, the guy is just a physical monster. You are not stopping him on the boards. So, all that to say, I think Vegas is wrong. I think the Lakers are going to be around 35 wins. I hope more, but I think 35 is a fair estimate. D'Angelo's going to average a double-double with points and assists. My boy Randall's going to go ahead and get that double-double with points and rebounds. You're going to see them really come into their own, and develop into that young core. We don't really need to say anything about Jordan Clarkson. I mean, the guy is special. He can pass, he can shoot, he can get to the rim, he can get those fouls. I would love to see him take his free throw percentage up this year. I feel like that's one area that he needed to work on. Also defensively, I feel like he has the ability to be a great defender and showed flashes of that last year. So hopefully he'll come into that this year. But I know he's been working a lot on his footwork and his shooting this year during the summer. The guy is special. I mean, he was drafted in the mid-second round, and he's now starting shooting guard for the Los Angeles Lakers, and he came out of college as a point guard.
I mean, that's not saying much. The Lakers in 2016. I mean, their team is
he was starting shooting guard with Kobe there. I mean, and Kobe.
The only thing I'll just interject. The only thing I will say about Clarkson is I think he could have got paid a lot more. I think he sold himself short. When I saw that, I'm like, dude, really? With all the contracts, like all these people that are getting paid, I mean, I follow the NBA. I'm more like a casual watcher. I follow it more. I pay attention once the NFL season is over. Is when I really focus on it. So playoffs, I'm all in. Before that, I kind of catch a few games here and there. The only thing was, I saw a bunch of players. I'm like, who the heck is that? Getting $100 million contracts, and then I see Jordan Clarkson going for almost half of that.
Yeah, I don't think he sold himself short. I think what's happening is he's betting on himself. He's saying, I'll take this contract now. I'm going to have a breakout season.
You think he's going to demand more next time?
I think he's going to turn into a max player at some point. He's already got all-star potential. My thing with Jordan Clarkson is that when he came into the league, he didn't have that LeBron James wow factor. But what he did have is that Kobe Bryant work ethic. And I believe that work ethic is what is going to transfer into his game and make him a better player. Kobe was Kobe, but, mid 2000, between 2000 and 2010, around 2005, Kobe turned into a different animal. And yeah, there was a lot of different factors in that. But I think it was just the consistent work ethic and practice that turned into him being, arguably the greatest of all time.
I don't think anybody's had the the big, spectacle that LeBron did when they came into the league. I think that was a special case.
Yeah.
Whereas I think at times, I mean, I'm not saying LeBron sucks, but I just think like all the media is super on him. We're like, oh my God, he did this. Oh my God, he's the greatest ever. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm a Laker hater. I don't like the Lakers at all.
So as a Laker hater.
No, yeah, the one thing I will admit is that as a Laker hater, speaking for myself, when I saw I believe it was the ESPN rankings where they ranked LeBron, I think was 2 or 3.
Second.
Yeah, he was 2, right?
Second.
He was above Kobe. When I saw that, I was like, okay,
that's a little excessive. Kobe.
That's a little excessive.
Yeah.
I don't like the Lakers, but I respect what Kobe did, and I respect the numbers he put up. I still think Jordan is better just because I'm a diehard Jordan fan. I still would put Jordan above Kobe, but I would not put LeBron above Kobe.
I think the difference between Jordan and Kobe, and we can get into this conversation another time, but I think the biggest difference is that Jordan was a pioneer and Kobe changed the game. So Jordan, the pioneer, obviously changed the game in his own rights. And then Kobe took what Jordan pioneered and changed it, took it to another level. If you want to look at the three-point game and the way that the game is now, I honestly believe that all these guys, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, all these guys owe that to Kobe. Because if you look at his career stats, the one number that stands out if you put him and Jordan side by side is three-pointers. Now, I'm not saying that Kobe was some three-point pioneer or that he created the three-point game. What I am saying is that with his excellence and his name, he made the three-pointer a more acceptable shot. You put him side by side with Jordan, 1,800 threes in his career compared to Jordan's 581. That's a huge difference if you're talking about two of the greatest of all time.
Okay, numbers-wise, yeah, we're looking at a number as a whole. One thing I will say is, okay, how many seasons did Jordan have? How many seasons did Kobe have? Huge factor when Kobe's had, I believe, at least over 5 more seasons. 82 games a year, that's a huge difference. Where he's going to have a lot more attempts and more, openings to shoot those threes. Also, I'm looking at the statistic of their three-point percentage, and Kobe was at 0.329, Jordan was at 0.327. It's not that much of a difference. I think the reason Kobe started doing that was because as Kobe was transitioning, into a few years into, his career, the league kind of became a little softer. Where if he tried to take it in and try to just dunk on people or try to just, smash it on everybody the way Jordan did, they would call a foul on him. So he just said, you know what, I'm going to get my points no matter what. Whereas Jordan didn't really have to worry about that. If Jordan had to adapt to the three-point game, I think he would have got it, no questions asked.
Yeah, I think he would have figured it out. I guess my bottom line into it is Kobe, in his greatness, people look at him and he is a leader in the game. So if he shows us something, then all of a sudden we say that's good, that's right.
Do you think
and what I'm saying is that his
mimicked it from
his flashiness. I mean, his 3-pointers that he made to win games. That game against the Spurs. These shots that he made that were just ridiculous. Running
or the ones
flying,
he missed, right?
Flying sideways at the flying sideways at the top of the 3-point line. And draining shots to win the games. He made the 3-point shot fun and exciting. Because when people like Ray Allen, I mean, you talk about Ray Allen as one of the greatest shooters of all time, and his 3-point shots were not flashy. They were just, I'm going to stand in the corner, you're going to pass me the ball.
What about Reggie Miller?
Right, Reggie Miller was an awesome 3-point shooter, right? And he was fun to watch. But he also had other elements to his game.
Yeah, I know, but his 3-points were crazy.
Yeah, but he didn't change. The game didn't change. When he retired, 3-pointers still were kind of frowned upon. Coaches didn't give you the green light to just shoot. Well, what I'm saying is
people weren't as good at shooting them, so they were just like, don't risk it. Don't shoot it.
My point is that Kobe made it okay. He made it flashy. He made it fun. He made it exciting. Back in the 90s and in the 80s, 3-point shots were not fun and exciting. It was just like, oh, he shot a 3. It was more fun and exciting to see them drive and bump bodies and dunk.
Well, because it was physical and
blocks
and they wouldn't call a foul for everything, and everyone wasn't crying, oh, he pushed me too hard or this and that, or they weren't all Dwight Howard.
Exactly. And now you got Steph Curry, who has the green light 6-7 feet behind the line, which is just ridiculous.
And we saw how well that worked in the finals, right? Okay, but honestly,
so we'll get into the Warriors next week.
No, but if anybody wants to have some input on this, we will have all of our social media attached on links to the podcast. That way you can check it out and you can give us your input, give us what you think about it, and we'll read some of them next week.
Right? Can LA be patient? That's what we want to know.
I don't think they can. I think you guys are so spoiled of winning for so long and being dominant in the NBA for so many years, and I hate admitting that. You guys were so spoiled in that sense that now you guys think it should automatically come. It's just like with the free agency, like, oh well, they want to come. Everyone wants to come to LA. You guys are kind of realizing that's not the case anymore, and you kind of have to be patient, wait a lot longer now.
And I disagree with that. I think that LA fans are excited about this new young team. I think you watch what they did in the preseason, or not in the preseason, sorry, in Summer League. They were fun to watch. And I know that that's going to duplicate to the preseason and the regular season. And I think that LA fans have come to realize that this is going to be a process. It's going to take some time. We're not going to hit a home run and get the Kevin Durant in free agency.
Nope.
And at the end of the day, I think because the front office has done such an awesome job building this young talent, granted, it came after some mistakes, but their mistakes led to fruit. They were able to turn it around. They were able to get some really solid young players. I mean, you look at the draft, everybody had the Lakers taking Okafor. Everyone. And Mitch threw a wrench in it. He said, I'm going with D'Angelo. I'm going to take a guard. I'm going to take that risk because D'Angelo had a much higher risk, but he also had the greatest opportunity to be successrill in the league. Everybody's saying that analytics-wise. We needed a guard. And now we got Ingram, and everybody's debating whether or not he should have been the number one pick. At the end of the day, he's just smooth, man. He is so silky smooth, the way he moves with the ball, the way he shoots. His defensive ability is already top tier, and I really, truly believe that he's going to be one of the greatest defenders. And the fact that the Lakers just brought back Metta World Peace, I know some people have mixed feelings about that. I love it. I love it because he's already working with Ingram. You're talking about one of the greatest defenders of all time.
And punchers.
Let it go. Let it go. The man is, he's an animal. He's
Those
one of the
fans
greatest.
Didn't forget about that.
That's in the past, man. He's a good dude. He's doing the right thing. He's made a lot of changes. But at the end of the day, he's one of the greatest defenders of all time.
I love his personality. Like watching interviews, he's so entertaining. He's hilarious. But I just think it's funny.
So he's already working with Ingram. He's already teaching him spacing, where to place your hands, how to use your quickness. So I think that Ingram working with Metta is huge. Just like last year, Randall working with Metta was huge. I think the Lakers are going to be fun to watch, and they're not going to win it all this year, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a fun team to watch, and it's something to look forward to. That there's hope for a future. We have a really talented young team, and I know a lot of people are hating on the Mozgov and Deng signings, and yes, they could have probably gotten better contracts, but at the end of the day, we needed that veteran leadership. Deng has an unsurpassed work ethic, so he brings that Kobe work ethic into the locker room, which I think is much needed, because at the last game of the season, those guys needed to see Kobe get 60. They needed that. But Kobe did that for us.
Shots, right?
He did it for us, for the fans, but I think he also did it for that young team to say, look, this is what it takes if you want to be great. So, Lakers fans, hold on to hope. It's going to be a fun season. Watch every game. If you want to formulate an opinion, please watch the games and have a valid opinion. Don't just talk because you saw a highlight. Really watch how these guys work together, how they move the ball, how they play together, and let's see where it goes. So,
and also I'm doing air quotes right now. You Laker fans, you can throw away or hide your Warriors jerseys now, because I know how all you guys were hopped on that bandwagon, and I know so many people.
Lakers North.
Yeah, exactly. I know all those people. I was watching everybody on Facebook and on Instagram, like, yeah, let's go Warriors, go Warriors. I'm like, weren't you rooting for the Lakers not long ago? I remember you. We went to high school. You were a Laker fan. You were a diehard Laker fan, and now Steph Curry this, Steph Curry that, Klay Thompson, Splash Brothers. I'm like, all right, now if you're gonna come back, stick to one team.
So we want to hear you guys weigh in on the Twitter. Can LA be patient? That's going to be our poll. And then we'd love to hear your thoughts too. Just retweet us with hashtag LA Patience. And then let's go from there and see what happens. Transitioning, LeBron James, is he forcing excessive spending? I honestly believe what he's doing to the Cavaliers, whether people want to call it what it is or not, it feels like it's malicious.
I don't know. I just think it's LeBron's world pretty much right now. No matter if you want to admit it or not, it's his say, especially with the Cavs. Like if he look what he did with the coach. Hey, you know what? We're not really. This isn't really working out for me, so Black gotta go. And then they hire, what's the name of their coach?
Tyronn
Lue. I just remember him when he got stepped over by Iverson. That's dirty. But I'm just like, it's his say. No matter what, it's what LeBron wants and how LeBron wants it and when he wants it. It's him.
My thing is the waiting to sign the contract until after the supporting cast is signed. I just feel like he keeps holding the team hostage, and he did the same thing when he left, when he went to Miami. This is the same old LeBron. I mean, he's holding the team hostage. He's locking up their bank account. The only difference now is they're not waiting to sign players because he might leave. They're signing the players that he wants in order for him to stay. So before it was, I don't know what I'm going to do. And Cleveland put everything on hold, passed on all free agents, and then he left for Miami. Now he's back in Cleveland, and now it's, I'm not going to sign until JR signed. I'm not going to sign until Thompson signed. I'm not going to sign until you make XYZ trade. I think it's one of those things where is there going to be a rule change to affect this where one player cannot force a team into excess spending. I don't remember exactly the exact number, but I know it was around $150 million in taxes last year for the Cavs. That is just mind-boggling that one man forced them to do that. And yes, I understand we're talking about LeBron James, but if Kobe would have ever done that to our team, I don't know, man. I might have had to say, you know what, dude, you're showing me a side I don't like.
Well, because LeBron is playing GM, he's playing partial owner. It's what he says. It's what LeBron wants. Like you said, okay, re-sign this person, trade for this person. I want Kevin Love. We saw how well that worked out and how well that meshed for in the beginning. But I mean, they won a championship. They did do that. I was actually excited about that just because I got so annoyed with all these new Warriors fans, air quotes again, all these new Warrior bandwagoners, that it just got so annoying. And honestly, I got bored of every game, three-pointer. Okay, we get it. You can shoot a three. Can somebody do something different? It's just like if someone just keeps taking it to the whole time, after a while, it's just like, okay. I mean, you're a professional athlete. Give me something new. Give me some diversity. That's the only thing that I got kind of annoyed with the Warriors. So I just liked kind of a change in the status quo that was built at that point.
The funniest thing to me is Tyronn the puppet. Did you watch after they won that title and Tyronn looked at, the announcer came to talk to Tyronn about the game, and then he looked at LeBron for approval, and then LeBron pointed like, "Yeah, go ahead," and nodded his head. I just thought that was so significant that he is now LeBron's puppet, and it's sad, but it's true. That would never happen with Phil Jackson. That would never happen with Greg Popovich.
Well, the Phil Jackson, they've been coaching for so long that, they would have it established when, if they move to that team, they will let them know, like, LeBron, you're not going to play me like that.
I don't think they would ever coach LeBron.
Oh, I don't think that they will.
I don't think they would.
Yeah.
Because
I think LeBron would ask for too much. Yeah. And they're like, no, I'm not going to do that. And they wouldn't meet in the middle. Right.
So I think at the end of the day, something may change later on down the road. Maybe at the next CBA, they might. I'm sure the owners are going to talk about it. How to tighten up the impact that players have on team spending. So, quick side note, Narcos. Has anybody watched season 2 yet?
Yup.
Oh, man.
I love that.
Season 1 was amazing, and I binge watched season 2 in a single day. My wife and I sat on the couch
too.
and binge watched it in one day.
Me and my wife saw it all Friday. We started maybe around 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and we finished it all by night. She actually fell asleep maybe the last episode or so, but I finished the whole thing. I love it.
Quick, really, really quick opinion from you on the show overall. Go.
My opinion on it,
yeah.
I loved it. I loved the acting. I think is phenomenal. I think the way it's written is amazing. The directing, everything. I just think it's amazing. It's just a well put together show. Especially, I mean, Netflix has this thing where the quality of their originals is awesome, and this is no exception. I was a little worried after season 1. I was like, I just hope they don't drop the ball in season 2. And they didn't. They surpassed it, and it was amazing. I love the show. Huge fan.
So what do you think for season 3? I know season 3 is going to come around the corner real quick. They set it up at the end.
Yep.
I
don't want to give the name out of what's going to happen or who's going to, be involved in season 3 for those of you if you haven't seen it. But it does continue. I had a discussion with my wife about it before we even saw season 2. I said, I wonder if they're going to continue it, go. And she was like, well, I mean, doesn't Pablo Escobar kind of die at some point? And I'm like, well, the show's called Narcos. It's not called Pablo. So, I mean, they can do it easily. They can just, continue because of the whole, I mean, the cartel people, that's still going on now. It just moves from different cartel groups. So I just think it's done very well, and I just think that they've executed the show amazingly. I'm excited for part 3. How do you feel? Because I understand, I speak Spanish, I'm Hispanic, so I understand and I speak Spanish, so I'm able to follow along with the Spanish. I read the little translation sometimes, but that's not exactly what they're saying, but it's similar. So how do you feel someone who doesn't speak Spanish? I mean, you understand a little bit, but how do you feel following along with the show?
So it's one of those things where sometimes I'd feel like I spent an hour reading a book. I feel like it didn't take away from the story at all. It didn't take away from the how great the show was. But there were times where I felt like, man, I just read an hour worth of a book. And there were times that I felt disconnected, too. Because
but a book that's worth it, or a book that you're like,
It's worth it, absolutely. Okay. But there's times where, because when I'm watching a movie, I like to connect with the characters. And I feel like, when you're having a conversation with somebody, you look them in their face. So having to look down and read, I feel like it disconnects you a little bit. But it doesn't take away from it. I mean, I still feel the adrenaline rush of the show. So I feel like they did a great job at balancing it out.
Because I've actually, even though I know the Spanish, I still find myself reading the subtitles.
Right.
Along with the story. So, I mean, I get you in that sense.
Fun fact, 1 in every 4 Americans has been on television.
Really?
Yeah. Don't know if that's verified, but...
Would you find that on Wikipedia?
Found it on the internet. Hey, it's the internet. It's true,
it has
right?
To be true, right? Everything on the internet has to be true.
Vin Scully. Man. I grew up watching Dodger games. And, me and my dad would go to the Dodger games. We had a family friend that had season tickets, so we would get, somewhere around 15 to 20 games a year that we would go to. And... just Vin Scully was a part of my childhood. He was a part of, I played baseball for 14 years, and he's a special figure in my life because the way that he doesn't miss a beat. It's like he'll be telling a story about a pitcher that you've never heard of before, and how he used to sit on the dock and fish with his dad when he was 8, and they would eat ham sandwiches, and there's pitch 3 for a strike, and they used to have orange juice with it, and every once in a while he'd catch a bass, and pitch 4 is in there for a ball, and he does not miss a beat.
Yeah.
And the fact that he does the research and knows these players individually, I mean, you're talking about 30, 40 players per team. There's a lot of people to know these things about. Like a pinch hitter will come up, and it's a guy that it's his second year in the league, and he's really a nobody, and Vin knows his backstory.
Yeah.
He's really an amazing character. You know, the fact that he's just always tried to stay away from the spotlight. Such a humble guy. So Ramona Shelburne tweeted, Scully on last night's ceremony. You talk about being on Mount Olympus. I think it was 5 feet over. I mean, the guy is just, he's so appreciative. And it's like he deserves every ounce of everything that's coming at him right now. It's really been beautiful what people are doing for him and what things are being said about him. But I love what the Dodgers did last night to set up that big, huge ceremony for him, bring him out onto the field. Everybody lined up for him. Really, really special. Great way to honor this man. Sad to see him go.
Agreed. I've never really followed baseball well. I just kind of know more about it. He didn't impact my life that well, but based off the long career that he had, can't respect the guy.
Absolutely. And the Dodgers are 7 games ahead now. So I think it's safe to say that the hated ones, the Giants, are done.
About time.
Thank goodness. I don't know if I can say the hated ones. That's a Vic the Bricks thing, but definitely the hated ones for sure. And I'm excited to see Andre Ethier back. I've wondered when he was going to come back, if he was going to make it back for the playoffs. I think it's huge to have him back. It's a big bat. It's a guy that knows how to play defense. I think the Dodgers have a really good shot. They're so deep. When you talk about their pitching, they don't have much on the starting pitching rotation beyond Kershaw and Maeda, but their bullpen has been getting it done. We could bring anybody into. I could go start for them and get pulled out in the second inning.
I wouldn't go that far.
No, I'm being dead serious. I could go get pulled out in the 2 pitches into the first inning, and that bullpen would get it done. They're so deep. So I tip my hat to the Dodgers front office. They said that they were going to build the bullpen. They said that they were going to get us 1 million arms, and they have done exactly that. And all these guys are delivering, and they're all doing it at the right time. So rough start to the season, some injuries, but Dodgers are doing what Dodgers do. They're finishing well, and this is going to be really impressive. I'm really excited to see the playoffs, and hopefully we can finally get a World Series because it is about time. We're talking about 4 division titles in a row. It better happen this year. If it doesn't happen this year, I think it's time to blow the team up.
I just hope it's not the Dodgers don't do what the Dodgers do and look good and then just choke. And don't show up in the playoffs.
Yeah, choke.
But,
Puig, excited to see Puig back.
He looks like he's matured, which is good.
Yeah,
he looks like he has his head on better, and he looks like his teammates have his back now. That they have like a genuine friendship and like acceptance with him, which it seems like that's what he was missing before.
I think they've always loved him as a little brother. I think he was just a hard-headed little brother that didn't listen. And sometimes it's hard to humble yourself, especially when you're making millions of dollars. You're a superstar. You get like whatever you want. Yeah, you're the man. You can do whatever you want, especially when this guy owned not just LA but baseball for 2 years. He came in, he rocked the league, and then his rookie year was just phenomenal. He was on the cover of the MLB baseball game, just a superstar in his own rights, and then just faded. And I think he's been struggling with that. And I think, he's that, like I said, that hard-headed little brother that just struggled, and sometimes it's hard to humble yourself. Sometimes you got to be humbled. And I think Dave Roberts did it the right way by sending him to AAA and saying, look, we love you. We want you to be a part of this team, but we want you to be a part of the team. We don't want you to be a part of Puig.
Yeah.
So go get it right, come back, and let's do this thing.
Sure.
And he's doing it, man. So real quick, we have a Tom Brady Patriots debate that we want to have next week. And the question is, my thought is that cheating should tarnish the legacy of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. What's the question?
The question that we want to ask is, and we want your guys' response, and we're going to give our opinion next week, is does the fact that the Patriots are still winning, they're undefeated now 3-0 with Bill Belichick and second and third string quarterback, does that change anything to Tom Brady's legacy? Also, would you look at Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan any differently if they got caught cheating in any aspect that affected their game? Would they still be the greatest of all times?
Even if it was one small moment
something small, like just let us know, would that change anything?
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Out.